Spinner, whose real name is Shuichi Iguchi. He has a lizard-like appearance due to his quirk, Gecko, which grants him the ability to cling to walls and enhances his physical capabilities. Spinner is a loyal follower of Stain, the hero killer, and admires his ideals of cleansing the world of false heroes. Because of this, he joins the League of Villains and later becomes a member of the Paranormal Liberation Front. In battle, Spinner often uses bladed weapons, including a giant sword made from multiple smaller blades. Though not the strongest member of the League, his determination and belief in Stain's ideology drive him to fight fiercely against heroes. Himiko Toga. Himiko Toga had a tough childhood. She was born into a normal family, but she had strange interests that made her different. From a young age, Himiko was fascinated by blood and wanted to get close to people she liked in creepy ways. This scared her parents, who tried to make her act normal. As Himiko grew up, she couldn't control these feelings. At school, she became obsessed with a boy and ended up attacking him to drink his blood. This shocking event pushed her further away from everyone, and she realized she couldn't fit in with the rest of society. Himiko eventually ran away from home and joined the League of Villains, where she found others who accepted her for who she was. Stain. Shizome Akaguro, better known as Stain, had a dark and twisted journey that led him to become one of the most feared villains in My Hero Academia. As a young man, Stain was deeply influenced by the idea of true heroism. He admired heroes who were selfless and brave, but as he grew older, he became disillusioned by the way many heroes seemed to be more focused on fame and money than on helping others. Believing that society had lost sight of what it truly meant to be a hero, Stain decided to take matters into his own hands. He trained himself in combat and developed a strict code, deciding that only those who lived up to his ideals deserved to be called heroes. Anyone who didn't, in his eyes, deserved to die. Stain's quirk, Blood Curdle, allows him to paralyze his victims by ingesting their blood, making him an even more dangerous foe. He targeted heroes he considered fake and killed many before being captured. Dabi. Dabi, originally known as Toya Todoroki, is one of the most complex and tragic characters. Born as the eldest son of the Todoroki family, Dabi had a rough childhood. His father, Endeavor, pushed him to become a powerful hero, but Toya's quirk, a powerful blue flame, was too strong for his body to handle. The flames would burn his own skin, causing him immense pain. Despite this, Endeavor continued to push him, which led to deep resentment and emotional scars. Toya was believed to have died in a fire, but he survived, though severely injured and changed forever. He took on the name Dabi and became a villain, hiding his true identity while seeking revenge against his father and the society that worshipped heroes. Dabi joined the League of Villains and became a key player in their plans, using his powerful quirk to cause destruction and chaos. Jin Bubai Gawara. As a young man, Jin led a lonely life, struggling to find his place in the world. His quirk, Double, allowed him to create copies of anything, including himself, but this power led to a deep mental struggle. After making multiple copies of himself, Jin lost control over which was the original, leading to a terrifying identity crisis where his clones fought and killed each other. Twice joined the League of Villains, where he found a sense of belonging and purpose. Despite his troubled past, he was incredibly loyal to his friends, especially Himiko Toga, whom he saw as a kindred spirit. Twice's story takes a heartbreaking turn in Season 6, when he fights to protect his friends during the battle against the heroes. He realizes that the League is the only family he ever had, and he pushes his quirk to its limits to save them. Unfortunately, this leads to his tragic death, but was just the beginning because one of his copies got stolen and is still alive. Overhaul. Kai Chisaki was raised in the Shie Hasaikai Yakuza group and was taken in by its leader, who he referred to as the boss. From a young age, Kai was taught the ways of the Yakuza, but he became obsessed with the idea that quirks were like a disease and needed to be eradicated to restore the world to its former, pure state. Overhaul's quirk, also called Overhaul, allows him to disassemble and reassemble anything he touches at a molecular level. This power makes him extremely dangerous, as he can heal injuries, destroy objects, and even kill people instantly. His obsession with curing the world led him to develop a drug that could erase quirks permanently, which he intended to distribute on a large scale. He is cold and calculating and will do anything to achieve his goals, even if it means using a young girl named Eri, whose quirk is central to his plans. Overhaul's cruelty is highlighted in his relationship with Eri, whom he repeatedly traumatizes to harness her quirk for his dangerous experiments. Kyudai Garaki. Kyudai Garaki, also known as Dr. Ujiko, is a key antagonist in My Hero Academia and a close ally of All for One. As a scientist with a twisted sense of morality, Dr. Garaki has played a significant role in the development of the Nomus, artificial beings created from the bodies of deceased individuals, enhanced with multiple quirks. His research and experiments are driven by his deep loyalty to All for One and his desire to create a world where only the strongest survive. Dr. Garaki's quirk, Life Force, allows him to extend his own lifespan, giving him the appearance of a much younger man despite his advanced age. This quirk has enabled him to continue his experiments for decades, contributing to the rise of some of the most powerful villains in the series. Mr. Compress. Mr. Compress possesses the quirk Compress, which allows him to shrink anything he touches into a small marble-like object by compressing its mass. This quirk is incredibly versatile and useful for capturing opponents, stealing items, or even hiding allies. Despite his villainous nature, Mr. Compress is intelligent and strategic, often serving as the voice of reason within the League of Villains. In addition to his quirk, Mr. Compress is skilled in misdirection and sleight of hand, making him a formidable opponent in both direct combat and strategic situations. His background as an entertainer and his natural talent for showmanship make him a unique and memorable character within the series. Tomura Shigaraki. Tomura Shigaraki, originally named Tenko Shimura, is the leader of the League of Villains in My Hero Academia. When Tomura was a child, he had a hard and painful life. He was born with a quirk called Decay, which turns anything he touches into dust. Unfortunately, when his quirk first appeared, he couldn't control it, and he accidentally hurt his entire family. After this tragic event, he was found by a powerful villain named All for One. All for One gave him a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and trained him to become a villain. Tomura wants to destroy the current hero society because he believes it is unfair and has caused too much suffering. Over time, he becomes more powerful and gains control over his quirk. In Season 7, he fights against the heroes in a flying fortress. Even though he temporarily can't use his quirk, his enhanced body makes him a serious threat. Tomura's goal is to reshape the world in his own way, without heroes. Gigantomachia. Gigantomachia is a giant and incredibly strong villain in My Hero Academia. He was once a loyal servant of All for One, the powerful villain who trained Tomura Shigaraki. Gigantomachia has several quirks that make him very hard to beat. He is super strong, can grow even bigger, and is nearly impossible to hurt because of his tough skin. Gigantomachia is known for his fierce loyalty to All for One, and later to Tomura Shigaraki. He will do anything to protect and follow their orders. He has the quirk Endurance, which means he can keep fighting for a very long time without getting tired. Kurogiri. Kurogiri has the quirk Warp Gate, which lets him create dark, fog-like portals that can transport people and objects to different places. This makes him very useful for the League of Villains, as he can help them escape or move around quickly. Kurogiri is usually calm and polite, but he is very loyal to the League of Villains, especially to Tomura Shigaraki. Even though he looks like a person made of dark mist, Kurogiri was once a regular person before being turned into what he is now by All for One and Dr. Kyudai Garaki. His true identity was Oboro Shirakumo, a friend of Shota Aizawa, Eraserhead, and Present Mike, back when they were in school. However, after a tragic accident, his body was used to create Kurogiri, erasing much of who he was before. Re-Destro. Re-Destro, whose real name is Rikiya Yotsubashi, is the leader of the Meta Liberation Army in My Hero Academia. He believes strongly in the idea that everyone should be free to use their quirks however they want, without restrictions. His group, the Meta Liberation Army, fights to make this belief a reality. Re-Destro has the quirk Stress, which allows him to store up the stress he feels and turn it into physical strength. The more stressed he is, the stronger and bigger he becomes. This makes him very powerful in battles, especially when he's under a lot of pressure.